This week, Meghan and Konrad are gently corrected on their sugar tax coverage. An alleged former member of the RAF forgets to get rid of her Kalashnikov before the police knock on her door 30 years later. Why the AfD doesn't actually rule the East. Friedrich Merz can't read the room, especially if the room is full of trade unionists. And Meghan has more to say about this silly whale rescue palaver. Mahlzeit.
Imbalance heart when news is unveiled. Meghan and Konrad with German tales. The German news, it's tough to bear, but with mega cans, they're ready to head there. Konrad, daily news at hand. Meghan feels to spare time to crack those cans. With each sip she takes, the mag is her shield, but will it last the news? 'Cause that was the deal.
Hello everyone, it's time for another episode of Megan's Megacan. I'm Megan, I'm here in Berlin. Where's Konrad Werner? Hi Konrad.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, not bad, yeah.
It's the eve of Männertag, Herrentag here in Germany.
Yeah.
Men's Day tomorrow.
Yeah, have to go and see a heron.
Yeah. You can parade through the streets with those little pulley trailer things of beer shouting.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Oh.
That's ridiculous. That's silly behaviour. Is that what...
That's what a lot of them do, yeah, with a little like...
And aren't you supposed to cut off their ties or something? Is that a different day?
Oh, I don't know. Is it?
You're supposed to be able to, with this pair of scissors, like, castrate them symbolically. I don't know.
Anyway, it's a public holiday, so that's good.
Might be dreaming. Yeah, good.
Speaking of drinking in the streets, let's have a drink.
Yeah.
I got some Lynchburg lemonades, the Jack Daniel's classics. We haven't had one for ages.
Oh, yes.
And it's 330 mils. Thank you, Jack Daniels.
It's like
America's doing one thing right.
It's like I'm coming home.
Cheers. Oh, God, that's good.
That's great.
I feel like I haven't had like a classic mega in ages, like one of these ones.
No, we've all been drinking funny ones, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
So, to business.
To business. What's been happening?
We got an email.
We did get an email.
So maybe we should start with that because we don't often get emails and it's kind of exciting for us. If you would like to email us, by the way,
please do.
Please do.
It brings us so much joy. I mean,
it does.
Only nice things, don't.
Yeah. You can go to our website, megansmegacan.com, and there is like there's an email address there which is hello@megansmegacan.com.
This is news to me.
Yeah,
that's good.
And then I will get the email. We haven't actually publicised that email address very often.
No.
But
I knew we had one. I didn't know that's what it was. That sounds.
It's the German hello, not
hello.
not hello. So,
yeah. Hello. You can imagine someone is about to tell you off from behind for not putting your rubbish in the right bin. Yeah. That kind of vibe. Hello.
Yeah. So, do please get in touch if you like. And so we got an email from our listener, Sama Abdallah.
Yes.
And he had a minor complaint about our coverage of the sugar tax issue.
Me running my mouth about something I didn't understand.
No.
Yeah.
So he wrote this. He wrote, hi, Megan and Konrad. I have lived in Germany, in Eberswalde, for almost 10 years and work in Berlin. I'm an avid listener of your podcast. Your rants entertain me when I have a moment to plug in my headphones and listen in, and it's a good way for me to keep up to date with the German news rather than relying on The Guardian.
That's good. The Guardian are weirdly sometimes pro-Merz, which freaks me out.
Yes.
That's a lovely opening. What? This is such a gracious email considering I was just talking absolute fucking smack, even more than usual.
And then he says, completely agree with you on most of your politics, but I do think that you should have a second look at this sugar tax thing. I have to admit, I don't know the details of the German government policy, and given that it's being led by the CDU, I'm sure it's not going to be the best approach. That's very good. But sugar taxes are generally seen as a progressive, positive way to improve public health and reduce health inequalities. The one in the UK has generally been seen as a success. And then there's a link to a Guardian article about the one in the UK.
2 articles.
Well, the other link is to... Oh, yeah. Yeah, 2 articles. And there's one to Nature as well. There was a documentary film. He recommends a documentary film made by a Berlin director called Purpose. Yeah. About well-being economies. And one of the few policy successes that the film highlights was the proposal to introduce a sugar tax in Italy, which still hasn't actually happened. Rather than making sugary drinks much more expensive, what has mostly happened is that producers have reduced the sugar content of their drinks, so that's a big success. Anyway, back to work for me, smiley, and keep up the great shows. So thanks very much for that email. That was a brilliant email.
Thank you so much. Such a gracious email, and to take so much time to educate us all. I'll take my good news where I can get it.
Yeah.
And we don't need everything to be filled with sugar. And so long as they're going to try, and this is where I guess we're all a little skeptical because it's the CDU, as long as they firmly put the responsibility for paying for this, on the, as much as possible, on the actual makers of the drinks.
Right. So I have looked into it a little bit, as it happens. So we don't have the actual numbers for what the sugar tax is going to be yet. But there was this, you might remember, we talked about this experts commission that brought in, and they had a suggestion for how the sugar tax should be, and it said that less than 5 grams of sugar per 100 millilitres would be tax-free.
That's still a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's still quite a lot, really.
For 100 mils. 100 mils is nothing.
Yeah, that's a third of a megagram.
Yeah.
That would still be tax-free. 5 to 8 grams per 100 millilitres would be 26 euro cents per litre, and anything more than 8 grams would be 32 euro cents per litre of tax. And, of course, the various business interests have already started lobbying against it, saying that all these costs will have to be passed on to the consumers, and it'll be a huge bureaucratic imposition for all the sugar drinks companies, and especially someone I spoke to at the Food Federation Germany. Said,
oh God, you really looked into this.
Yeah, I had to write an article about it. That's fine. yeah. So that's why I wanted to talk about it and read the email out.
Yeah.
Because I actually know about this a bit. Yeah, so she was saying to me that this is especially going to affect small and medium-sized businesses that only have 1 or 2 drinks in their portfolio. That's the word she used, the drink portfolio. But, of course, every other expert, all kind of public health experts, there's doctors, are all firmly in favour, and they actually say that Germany should really catch up with this, and it's high time that Germany brought in more public health measures like this. They said that most of the evidence has shown that it's been a success. Apparently in the UK now, most soft drinks have 35% less sugar than German soft drinks.
Maybe people who are in the UK can write us an email and say if they've noticed a difference.
Yeah.
There's no real need for all that sugar.
And then they were saying that, and that the other argument against it, of course, is that it's kind of effectively a tax on low income people, because they spend more of their income on food and more of their money on soft drinks in general than richer people. So they end up. So the argument goes that this could exacerbate financial inequality. But there's actually no evidence for that either. According to this nutritionist that I spoke to, who kind of looked into it, and he said, in fact, it also helps to assuage inequality because the health benefits also benefit lower income people more than they do rich people. So. Yeah.
And I do think, where I get a bit iffy with this, and where I don't think I articulate myself very well last time we talked about it, is, first of all, for someone who works with young people, parents get really weirded out by sugar and trying to restrict sugar and everything. And I think that can be, you don't want to give kids sugar all the time, but the idea that it's kind of addictive and has behavioral effects is not actually documented in any science, from what I understand. Although people do say it might be anecdotally very true, but that might have to do with the fact that it is restricted, that it's, and that parents are anxious around sugar, so that the kids kind of pick up on that, and it has this kind of psychosomatic effect.
Do you remember E-numbers? Do you remember that was a
Oh
big
God,
scare
yeah.
in England? They had to get rid of E-numbers because they're like drugs for children, basically. They make them all crazy.
Yeah, and then it also becomes this sort of thing of like, we view people who have less money or as this monolith who don't understand what people should be eating and what they shouldn't, which I find a little bit patronizing sometimes. And usually it's to do with the fact that it's just cheaper and easier if you're living in more financially challenging circumstances to give your kids something that you know they're going to eat, rather than trying to like sit down and be like, how do I make broccoli appetizing? Because who the fuck has time?
Yeah.
But I think with drinks, when I think about it, it is one of those things where so much sugar is kind of hidden in it to an extent. Like, I don't think we're aware of. I wonder what happens with, like, is it just pre-made drinks? What about things like all this matcha stuff people are drinking? What about all of these frappuccinos that people enjoy, which are just fucking...
I don't know the answer to that. Yeah,
it's
you mean like
so much sugar, it's nuts.
I mean, presumably that would also be taxed if it's got loads of sugar in it, even if you buy it hot and it's in a fancy cafe.
Yeah,
so,
but I can't imagine it would be, because you're not going to... What are you going to do? Anyway.
Do you want some more stats?
Please.
Germans apparently drink more sugar than any of the most populous countries in Western Europe. So the top 10 countries in Western Europe with the most people in them, Germans drink 26 grams of sugar each per day. That's
drink,
as opposed to chocolate and stuff, of which the average is 20 grams a day. And in the UK, by contrast, 16 grams per day.
Is that post?
That's post sugar tax, yeah.
Oh,
in the UK.
That's good. That's a big number, and that is probably better. But that statistic really surprises me. Like, what they do, because like I always think the Germans are a bit better about not being.
Yeah, no.
Like when I go home to the UK and I get all of my treats and everything, I eat like a raccoon. I am just like, and I like to say, oh, it's because I don't get it all the time. No, it's just easier.
Yeah. Or maybe also you just like the chocolate and stuff from your childhood more, as you do, as everyone
yeah,
does,
but I don't think I'm going to get sick of it if I move back to the UK. It would just be like, oh, democracy's collapsing as we know it, reform. Oh, time for a Freddo, which now costs 75 pence.
Well, anyway, also there are other public health measures that these experts say that Germany should bring in, which wouldn't cost any necessarily much money, would be healthier school meals, kindergartens. They could be stricter about that. Measures to protect children from junk food advertising. So I guess that means you can't show junk food adverts, on TV when kids are likely to be watching. You can only show it like late at night and stuff, maybe something like that.
Yeah, in the 90s, Konrad, when children were still watching TV.
Okay, well, yeah.
You got to get it off YouTube and you've got to get it off TikTok. Yeah. So no McDonald's on TikTok, no McDonald's on... Yeah.
And you could also lower taxes on healthy foods as well, because there is a tax on food, obviously, a VAT on food. That's
yes,
some of the measures
exactly.
that are being recommended. Some other countries have done it. Over 100 countries in the world have a sugar tax. So that's me all statted out. I haven't got any more stats for you.
Okay, well,
so
that was...
It was good to
learn,
clear that all up a bit.
Yeah.
So
let's see how it goes. I think it will be fine.
Cool.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What else has been happening in Germany? What else have you been deep diving into?
Well, I haven't really been deep diving into, but you might have seen that Friedrich Merz got booed the other day. He had to speak to the trade unions. And they were not happy with his ideas about pension reforms, social welfare reforms.
Which is what?
Yeah.
Guys, the state pension is just like like this basic thing, because for him it is literally, if he gets a state pension, that will be his like pocket change.
Yeah.
That will be the equivalent of like when my dad used to come home from work and I was little, and he would empty out his suit pockets, like with whatever he had, to put them in this little bowl coming into our living room. and there'd be like loose change in there. And I used to think that was his wages for the day, like 20p or 27p or whatever it was.
So when he gave you like 50p pocket money,
wow,
you were like,
my father is a generous man, which he very much was. But so that is kind of what Friedrich Merz is talking about with the state pension. Like to him, and I really just think he's lacking in empathy and like intelligence. So he just doesn't. You can tell him, but this is all the money people get. And it's like someone trying to explain to me what the actual reality of living in, like, I don't know, fucking Yemen is, you know, something like I can't,
yeah.
I'd probably do a better fucking job for Friedrich Merz. Anyway, sorry. What, they got booed? They booed him at the...
Yeah, there was like the trade union annual general meeting, DGB, which is like a federation of trade unions, I think. They booed him there. But then you should point out that most CDU chancellors get booed when they speak to the trade unions.
And rightly fucking so.
I mean, Merkel also got booed. They all got booed. Yeah.
I bet Merz got booed more than Merkel, though.
We have to get the booometer out.
The booometer, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I've got some bad news, but with some good news around it. Or maybe I should go...
Well, like bad news hidden inside good news, so I think it's good news, but it's actually shit.
Maybe the other way around. It's sort of like a bad news with good context. I don't know. I know what I'm talking about. Should I just say it?
I think we're all on the edge of our seats, Konrad. Why don't you proceed with...
Well, the AFD has won its only its second ever mayoral election. This one is in Brandenburg.
I think I know. It's some town that I hadn't heard of before. Does it begin with C?
Zdenek.
Zdenek. I just saw some TikToks about this. But that's bad news.
That is bad news, obviously. And
they won with like 58%
yeah.
of the vote or some shit.
Yeah, but that was the... I think that was the Stichwahl, so the runoff. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Sorry. No, that was the first vote. Anyway, yeah, but it doesn't matter. But the point is that he won. The context for this is a little bit that the main rival candidate was very ill and couldn't really campaign, and the one before him was also very ill, so it was kind of like a quite easy election to win. But maybe the more interesting news is that there have been like about over 20 mayoral and communal elections in Eastern Germany, so in the area where...
I'm looking very excited. My little face. Don't kick my little puppy face with what you're about. I hope this is the fucking good news because you're smiling. You better not just be drunk. How far are you through that mega can, Konrad?
Just barely a third. Not even had my daily intake of sugar yet. According to my average German intake of sugar.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so there have been over 20 elections, mayoral elections.
Okay.
22, in fact, in Eastern Germany, where we know that in most states the AfD is polling at 40% and over, like, way in the lead. And the AfD has only won one of them of all those elections. So that suggests that at a local level, when people actually have to vote for people to run things, the AfD is not necessarily winning. Like, it's not...
Or maybe when people know the candidates personally and they're like, he's a fucking balloon.
I think that is it. I think it's because they have all these little villages where everyone knows everyone else.
That fucking twat. I went to school with him. He couldn't spell.
Yeah, I think that
also, he's a Nazi. Yeah. Well, that is good news because also we've been hearing, you know, as someone from the UK, all about, like, you know, they've had local elections in England. And everyone's been like, oh, Reform have won all of these councillors elected, like huge, huge gains. But actually, when you look into the sort of minutiae of it, it might not be as bad as it seems.
Yeah, and I just think that like it's interesting that in at a local level that the AfD can't make any inroads necessarily, whereas at a sort of state level, they are apparently in the lead because we have the Sachsen-Anhalt is going to be the next election.
When is that? I am
It's the beginning of September.
Emotion. Okay, I've got to September. All right, we've got to get a summer. Oh God, what a back to school gift.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's the Berlin election a couple of weeks later.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, just I mean, and the Taz did quite a nice article about this, about where they kind of broke down all these different elections, and they said, they gave a few details on what actually happened at local level. In Gommern, Sachsen-Anhalt, the AfD candidate lost, only got 12.9% of the vote, and he had a kriminelle Vergangenheit. So it's obviously in Hui, also Sachsen-Anhalt, the AfD only got 10.4% of the vote.
Okay.
The winner was an independent policeman who had
Probably
experience
also
in administration.
concerning, perhaps, but I don't know. I don't want to judge.
And the AfD guy was someone who'd moved there from Hessen and was considered inexperienced. Yeah. And in Zerbst, which is a really good word, I think.
Zerbst. That is good.
There was it was won by the SPD of all people. The SPD candidate won, and it was his third election in a row. He's the re-elected mayor of Zerbst, and he was obviously a very trusted candidate, and people thought he could run things. Yeah.
And I think this is something we discussed before, and I don't want to detract from the fact that this is maybe good news, but it could also be that in these local elections, the party seems to be a lot less important, and it's more about the individual, which might mean that these are not exactly very indicative of how state elections
I mean, it's noticeable
may or may not go.
That the winning candidate in a lot of these elections is independent. It's someone who used to be in a big party often and has just
until they started fucking it royally up on the Bundestag, in the Bundestag. And
so they decided it's probably easy for me to win if I don't belong to a party.
And I mean, fair enough. But I think, it is interesting, and maybe, I don't know, you hope that there's enough in place for, because like some of the people interviewed that I saw in that little on social media who were saying like, oh, well, I just wanted to vote for AfD this time because I didn't like the last one, and maybe we'll see how we get on, and then maybe next time I'll, see if I want to vote AfD or not. And, you don't want to completely lose faith in humanity. And like, hopefully people then, it does seem when they actually know the candidates, that they're not that impressed with them. So I think this is the other thing. And I think it's also like, I don't know, I do think there's a bit of a like media failure, because when you mention reform or AfD or MAGA, like you get all these clicks and stuff. And so it's reported on as this kind of spectacle rather than any kind of drilling down into like, well, do people actually know? Can we expose what this party actually stands for? Like maybe treat them with the same scrutiny that we treated fucking Angela Rayner's tax returns.
Nigel Farage has just been donated 5 million quid by some Bitcoin billionaire. And he didn't declare it. And, if that had been any Labour minister, they would have gotten it. I mean, that's just how it is. But anyway, it's not our beat.
It's not. Sorry, I've just been listening to a lot of it this week, as you can
So, more
imagine.
News? Are you ready for different news? Or did you want to sort
It's why I came here.
Okay.
I'm not here just for the Mega Can, although I really do struggle on the days when we're not having a Mega Can.
That is the main draw. This week was the final pleas of the defense in the trial of Daniela Kletter, accused of being a former member of the RAF.
Can you please explain? Because RAF is one of those things that I hear in the context of Germany.
Yeah.
And I go, and I sort of nod sagely because I kind of know what it is, but I couldn't answer any questions on it.
Right. So it's not the Royal Air Force.
That I assumed. Though, should some of those people be on trial? I don't know.
It's the Red Army faction.
Okay.
Left-wing terrorist group, extremely active in the 70s and 80s. And there were different generations of them. because the first generation was all arrested, and eventually some of them committed suicide in prison. And
They're all arrested. They got all of them. They can't got all of them.
I can't do the whole history of the RAF now. It's like I'll be confused. I don't know all the details.
That's fine, Konrad. Broad strokes. That's fine. Sorry, I will stop talking.
The original ones were Andreas Bader and Ulrike Meinhof.
Ah, so they are connected with the Bader-Meinhof complex.
Yeah, that's them.
But why do they have two different names?
Well, they had that was just their name. But anyway.
But what is the Bader-Meinhof complex? Oh, that's a different thing.
That's just the title of a book, I think. The Bader-Meinhof complex. But they were the RAF. They were the first generation.
I do understand.
Okay.
God.
So they were like really hardcore communist terrorists, and they kidnapped, they blew up banks. They started by attacking shopping malls, I think. Sort of
I mean, you would if you're a communist, yeah.
I'm going to get all this wrong. I wish I had an expert here. But they were kind of like Maoist, armed Maoists, and they did bad things. They killed people. Famously, they killed this, they kidnapped this guy in the 70s and killed him. Anyway, I wanted to go...
Sorry.
They went in. There was this third generation which was active mainly in the early 90s.
Okay.
Who also did bomb attacks and attacked people, and then in 1998 they officially disbanded themselves. They put out a press release and said we no longer exist, and they went into hiding. The ones that were left went into hiding, and one of them was arrested, aged 65. 2 years ago, 2024, and she was called Daniela Kletter, and she's on trial now.
Okay.
And there's and she was actually living here in Kreuzberg.
God,
an assumed name. And the police found various guns and bombs in her flat.
Oh, Daniela. You're supposed to have given that up in 1998.
Yeah, it's a bit funny that she kind of kept all these stuff. Maybe for sentimental reasons. I don't know.
She like gets them out, like grannies get out like their, their wedding album, and she's like, no, let me tell you.
Yeah. So they found a Kalashnikov.
Sorry, this is not funny.
And she was living under an assumed name. She had Italian. She had a fake Italian ID, and she was involved with a local capoeira group, and she also, I read somewhere, she was just living a normal life, but she was living off money that they robbed from banks and money transporters, the money vans. So up until 2016...
Oh, they robbed those that's a really fucking shitty move.
They still carried out these robberies up until 2016, just so they could carry on living underground, just by paying cash for everything.
And that, the Securicor vans they do in Northern Ireland, it's really horrible, because that's a person that you're taking. You're not just... It's like one individual.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
So they found 200 grand in cash in her flat as well. And she gave a speech in court yesterday.
Where is she being tried?
In a place called Werden in Niedersachsen, which was where the I think most of the arrest warrants were out for her because of the robberies that were carried out around there. Yeah, and she was so she gave this speech where she kind of explained her life story and how she got into the old left-wing terrorism game. Mm-hmm. So this is summarised from the Taz newspaper. Kletter's story goes back a long way to her youth in Karlsruhe. She was born in Karlsruhe in the south. She explains that she experienced the constraints of capitalism even then. She protested against the war in Vietnam. She protested against the Iranian Shah's regime and the death of Benno Ohnesorg, who was an activist who was killed by the police in Berlin at the time. in the 60s, she came to believe that capitalism would always crush non-violent resistance. Only at the admission that she didn't actually confirm that she was a member of the RAF. She only said that the RAF played an important role in my life, and she considered the RAF's 1992 decision to renounce further deadly attacks, as well as the group's dissolution in 1998, as a good thing. She supported those decisions. But the fact that the state still knows almost nothing about the last generation of the RAF, and that should stay that way, was very important to her. Oh yeah, 2 of her accomplices are still at large. So the authorities are trying to find them, but they're also living in hiding too. And she did say she was sorry for any trauma suffered by employees of cash offices or cash transport services.
Yeah.
And she felt like the society as a whole is full of traumatized people due to the violence of capitalism. Klette places her resistance within the context.
I mean, yes, but why not to do an apology?
Yeah. And she placed her resistance against this within the context of today's protests against military build-up, social welfare cuts, and the genocide in Gaza. To overcome all this injustice, she asserts, a system change is needed, a world without oppression. We can only be truly free when everyone is free. She's going to be sentenced at the end of this month for the robberies, but the federal prosecutors have also filed charges against her for attacks carried out in the early 90s. So she's on trial only for the robberies at the moment, but there are other federal charges awaiting her, so she's probably going to have to go to another trial about what happened in the early 90s. Now that is going to be a lot harder to prove, and her defense lawyers say that is basically, you can't prove any of that, that she was involved in those attacks, and you don't have any evidence. They apparently the only evidence they have is some informant from the time, and they are cast doubt on his what do you say, believability after all these years. So that's the Daniel Lecter story.
Well, I guess we'll find out what happens, and like obviously it is bad to be a terrorist, and I have I genuinely, coming from where I come from, I have very little sympathy for people who normalize doing stuff to like civilians without it's genuinely But I think what's interesting is based like in the context of what we're seeing that we talked about last time with the Ulm Fünf, these left-wing extremists who broke into a factory and did some graffiti, who are being kind of put on the same level of this. And the RAF is this, and that's sort of why I asked to like have it explained again, because it's always brought up as this spectre to which we refer back to in Germany, particularly about extremism on both sides, violence and terrorism on both sides. But it's like really the only example.
And they did like using a Kalashnikov or a gun to rob a money transport van.
It's really bad.
And, they did fire shots, like someone could have been killed. And in fact, one of the...
they fired shot. Like, to me, that's just kind of messy.
So she is also on trial for attempted murder because shots were fired, and apparently one of the not victims, plaintiffs in the trial is one of the drivers of these vans from 2015. We'll have to see what happens. We will keep you updated what happens to Daniela Klette in the future. And
interesting that the federal government have decided that they're going to go after this thing for which they have no evidence. And they love being able to do this both sides thing, and we're treating all sides the same. But it's like, that's not your job. Your job is to look at what you have evidence for and prosecute what there is fucking evidence for.
I mean, the defense lawyer also said she's being treated like a terrorist, and they're making the trial look like it's a terrorist trial, where in fact it's a trial about a robbery.
To be fair, though, more justification in this trial than with the Ulm 5 sitting on 200,000 in cash and a Kalashnikov in your apartment.
Yeah.
And arguably being a member of the RAF. But yes, it's still, I don't know, like I find like absolutely prosecute the crimes that have been committed. It's not okay. But also things don't happen without context. And like there is just huge state and other violence. That's, you know, she's not wrong when she says we're all walking around fucking traumatized to some extent by, like, not me personally, by capitalism really, but like we always want to contextualize stuff that I don't know when I don't know, who knows. Are we done? Oh no, we need to talk about Timmy the Whale again.
Yes, we got Timmy the Whale to
So
get through.
Speaking of
We can never have enough of Timmy
projecting our societal and existential woes onto individual beings, for better or worse, right or wrong. The last update we had about Timmy the Whale was that he was in a barge, they made like a little watery thing that they could pull behind a boat.
It was sort of like a swimming pool.
A movable swimming pool.
That they could float in the water.
Like that thing, what is it, Badeschiff in Kreuzberg, that's sort of like that swimming pool that's sort of like a park club thing. Yeah. Obviously, I've never been, it sounds awful. But like if you could pull that around.
Did they play dance music for Timmy the Whale?
God, probably, with these loons that are in charge. And this is like an individual private rescue mission funded largely by millionaires who've lost their minds.
Yeah, isn't she a race horse millionairess? Like
this is Katrin Karin Walter Momert und Karin und Walter Gunz, and they are the big they were the sort of front people but there were a lot of other people involved, and there's also the teams that were involved on the boats. Right. They also or somehow got a man called Jeffrey Foster involved, who I believe is American, and he was involved with the freeing, which ultimately also ended in a whale's death, of the whale that played Free Willy. His name wasn't Free Willy. The aim was to free.
Well, they let him
Willy.
Try and free another whale after he'd killed one. They said, "Have another go."
He didn't kill them, but like if you have these like traumatized or institutionalized beings, you can't just Jeffrey Foster over and like send him out. Anyway, whatever, maybe he's done a lot of other whales. That's the only fact I know in connection to him. So maybe he's successfully released a lot of other famous whatevers.
Okay, but one died before and they said
that's the guy we want. There's probably only so many whale people you can call when all of the other experts who are not flying around the globe to do whale things, they're just like, no, let's clean up the seas. Let's talk about climate change. This is what whales do. There's all of that boring stuff. We don't want to hear it. We're like, where's the free will? Who freed Willy? Yeah, but Willy did die. Doesn't matter. Immaterial. We just need to get this fucking whale off the beach. So, unfortunately, we don't really have an update from Timmy because he was supposed to be released with this tracker, and he was swimming around, and it was debatable whether they'd had some pictures. It could have been him sort of spouting water out of his spout and looking all happy and jolly. I don't know.
But there was a tracker. There was some kind of digital tracker.
Didn't work. And so what has basically happened is that there's now kind of quite a lot of like silence around this area of what's happened, and he has probably died because he was quite sick, but arguably maybe a nicer death to die like whales kind of naturally do, sink to
he just sank
to the bottom.
But also didn't Karin Walter Momert distance herself from this entire operation after having paid for it?
If we want to talk about the self-aggrandizing nonsense of these people, where they get him out there, right, and then it's like, right, we need to get this whale off the fucking barge or whatever, and apparently this goes really wrong. Like, it's quite difficult, as you can imagine, to maneuver a fucking humpback whale. Even Timmy has found it difficult to maneuver himself, which is why he's in the position that he's in. God love him. So this apparently goes like a little bit wrong. Jeffrey Foster is either like his team is not really picked up, and like there's all of this miscommunication that's happening about how this whale is being released, and there's supposed to be this sort of protocol that people are following, and it's not being followed. People are being told you are not allowed to film this, or we're going to throw your phone in the ocean. Because it probably looks, everyone's imagining like the Free Willy scene where Free Willy jumps over the, do you know that final scene that was in like the ads, and the little kid, whoever the fuck he was,
Yeah.
the orca is leaping over him from the captivity to the open sea,
Right.
victoriously over the thing. They're imagining this, but it's basically them like poking the whale to try and get him out of the thing, which is apparently really bad and you shouldn't do. And then, of course, all of this fucking nonsense comes out, like an official press statement, which is now quite hard to find online.
Right.
It could just be my poor Googling skills in German. But they use two millionaires that have funded probably, they say like €1.5 million.
Yeah.
Like, we want to just distance ourselves from today's release of the whale and all of this stuff that happened. And all of this, like, just complete insanity, and like, oh, you didn't follow our instructions or whatever, but also like, are you actually in control? Like, who did you say was going to do this? Like, just all of this stuff that you imagine in like an episode of like The Thick of It or Off It, like where just people come together and are like super incompetent, and this whale is having to be poked with sticks rather than just left to die.
And they didn't let the vets on the boat or something. Is that true?
Who cares? What unethical vets are there?
There was some vet, and they were gonna, and then the vets weren't allowed to go on the barge.
What's a fucking vet gonna do? I'm sorry, you've already dragged this poor thing into the top of Denmark to release it into the sea. The vet's gonna be like, yeah, he's a bit fucked. Okay. He's been lying on a beach for 3 weeks.
Right.
I have absolutely no.
Okay.
I'm sure a lot of people are acting like in good faith and stuff, but this idea that we are just rich white people that can get together and just like our goodwill is enough, but it's not. It's just all about how we feel, and this whole thing about like, oh, we're distancing ourselves from this as if anybody cares. We all knew you were. It's so about themselves, and like this poor whale. I don't know. And now they're going after there's a petition against the environment minister saying he didn't act fast enough. He has apparently possibly mentioned a memorial for this whale.
He's like called Till Backhouse. Is that right?
Yes.
Backhouse, yeah.
And he's possibly, I hadn't really seen this, but like the Karin Walter Momot, this racehorse owner, crazy lady.
It says he's the... What is he, like the environment minister for Mecklenburg-Vorpommern?
Yeah, like not a job that you expect to be on the world stage of like millionaires doing crazy stuff. But anyway, so he, I think, maybe mentioned doing like some kind of memorial or something, and Karin Walter Moment has been like...
It is a bit his fault as well, because he allowed this, he had to give his approval for this rescue mission.
What choice does he have, though? He's like listening to the experts and going, I'm not going to use state funds to spend 1.5 million to rescue. I'm not going to get the Free Willy murderer over on a business class flight to get Timmy off the beach to go out into the sea where he will inevitably die. I cannot, in good faith, use state funds for this. Is this what you're saying, Konrad? No. So he can't then stop it. What's he going to do? Go and
he can just say no. You can just say, I'm not going to allow them to do it.
Konrad, do you know what the internet discourse has been around this? This is what I mean. So the other side are going to be like, you're a murderer. You might as well have gone out there and hit Timmy with sticks yourself. We want these people to take him far away where we can't see him and then hit him with sticks and not film it. This is what we must have, and it must cost millions.
Yeah.
So this is the only possible conclusion that could have happened in this case. And it's like, I think it sucks for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
But also, to move into our good news section, Timmy is probably now at peace.
One way or the other.
And as I was just reading in one article, when a whale falls down, their body, it's the cycle of life, and they create a whole lot of other life. And it's really good for the ecosystem.
Yeah, because other animals eat it, basically. Yeah. You become food. That's
but
what nature means. When
exactly.
you die, you become food. Yeah.
And someday, God willing, it'll happen to us all.
We will all become food.
And it is just this sort of, like, nature will just kind of keep going regardless of what absolute nut jobbery we are doing. And I'm very sorry if people feel, because I know this is also like, people do get attached to him, and whatever we project onto him, it is really sad what happened. And if you prefer to see him rescued and wonderful and all of that, and if you think it was actually, like, I'm not really here to judge anyone's opinion on this, but I just don't want to fucking hear from these people anymore. Like, what are you doing? A press statement? I'm distancing myself from the actions of the crew of the Robin Hood. Fuck off. Yeah. Like, how do these people have so much money? I just can't. Well, R.I.P. Timmy, rest in power.
I believe she's a very successful racehorse owner.
I don't know if she is. I haven't actually looked into her, and this is complete speculation. I think how they said it, she's like a racehorse owner. Yeah. Which is not the same as being like a racehorse trainer. So that doesn't imply she knows anything
about animals.
No.
And
it implies that she
knows how to make money off them.
No, it's sort of like, I don't know if you do make, well, maybe you do make money. I mean, you might if you can breed from them later, but it's like a fun thing to do, and you go and watch them and you're like, I know what I'm doing. And I actually have no idea about this woman, but like, if you're a racehorse owner and then some incredibly knowledgeable trainer will have to like listen to you and nod and go, yes, that's a good idea. Yes, of course we'll do that with him before the next race. Yeah. And do what, let's just...
Wow, that was... Thank you for that.
I'm sorry. Like, it really drives me crazy.
That was really good.
Like, this...
Good. I think that is all the news. Don't think there's no more news.
There's no more news. We're done. I'm just really Googling her now, but I think everyone... It's fine. I may have to come. Maybe someone will email me graciously and explain why actually she's a wonderful person. Yeah. But like, just...
that would be hello@megansvideocon.com.
And if anyone's interested in maybe doing like a mockumentary story based on or roughly adjacent to Timmy the Whale story, hit me up.
Oh yeah, that would be really good. Like a kind of thick of it style.
Yes. Alternatively, the other thing I would like to write is the leadership and Betriebsrat, workers' council meetings that happen in the Tesla factory. These are my ideas. Get in touch, people.
Good. Excellent. Well,
and have yourself a Lynchburg lemonade on this Männertag.
Yeah, enjoy the Männertag. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Thanks, Konrad.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh God, I think people are going to think I'm insane.
Can German news in English with a cocktail can. The German news, it's quite a test. With Megan's Mega, you're feeling refreshed. Ooh, Megan's Mega can. German news in English with a cocktail can. Deutsche Nachrichten sind düster und schwer. Down the Mega.
Defy the fear.
Yeah.
It's actually quite a positive message to give to people.
So.
I like to think that we have quite a positive impact on our listeners.
I hope so.
Because we try and get them to defy the fear of listening to the news all day.
I mean, it's better than reading a German newspaper. Surely.
I would definitely recommend listening to our podcast more than reading any German newspaper.
German newspapers barely have pictures. Like fucking, it's just a brick of text.
Oh yes. And they seem to make a virtue of it. They think it's like so great to have no text.
Not like you Americans
no
with your fucking
colour pictures.
Decadent pictures in your newspapers.
Yeah,
What's that? A crossword puzzle? Oh, no wonder you had Trump. Jesus Christ, everyone! Like, there's a middle ground.
You have to concentrate on the news. It's very important. And you have to like keep it there.
Just have a mega.
Have a mega. Give us a picture every now and then.
Just a wee picture, maybe of, a diagram.